Well. Shout out to everybody. Hopefully everybody had a good Christmas. All right. A lot of positivity with the Christmas just passed. Remember that Christmas just passed, ladies and gents, boys and girls. So of course I'm going to have to intro the fact that yes, we are talking about the Steelers game that just took place couple days after Christmas. Remember that, guys. Christmas was just a couple days ago. So we should all have glee in holiday. You see, Christmas. These are Christmas lights. Okay, guys, remember that. All right, Christmas lights. But we are going to be talking about this 13-6 L that the Steelers took on the road versus the Cleveland Browns. And of course, I am joined by my awesome panel. Right? We talking about none other than TaNeisha from @Really Flawed, Miss PhD. Shout out to the doctor in the building. And you know, I was just in TV land and I had to tell them, hey, y'all know I talk to TV land on the regular. I'm talking about none other than the real producer down in Raleigh, North Carolina, the WRAL Channel 5 producer, Mark Bergin. Yeah. So shout out to the squad. Shout out to both of y'all. Oh, all right. Which of you two would like to start us out on this here? Yeah. Oh, it just remember, Mark. Christmas was a couple days ago. Mark, remember that Christmas lights. All right, it was a couple days ago. Mark, remember that. All right.
It's really hard to win a football game when you don't score a touchdown. Let an NFL game, and the Steelers missed DK Metcalf today, like point blank. I have no other way of sugarcoating this. If he plays, I think you're talking about a different end result in this game. We could talk about the final sequence targeting MVS 3 times against Denzel Ward, a 5-time Pro Bowl cornerback. MVS, who just got elevated from the practice squad earlier this month, a player that the Steelers signed on November the 4th. I really think DK Metcalf would have made a difference in this game, in a game where the Steelers failed to score a touchdown, something they haven't done in a game. You got to go back to the 2024 opener against the Falcons, in which the Steelers didn't score a touchdown. It's hard to win when you don't score touchdowns. That didn't happen today, and they really messed DK Metcalf. Calvin Austin III didn't play either, and this was a Steelers offense that just struggled all afternoon long.
Heck yeah. And you throw in Darnell Washington also going out with the broken arm as well, man. So just another weapon that you added to that. Talk to me, Doc. What you got over there, Doctor? Yeah.
It just wasn't, the offense just was not good. It just didn't look good. It didn't feel good either. You know, sometimes when you lose, you're like, man, gosh, how did we lose that? But this one, it's just like, it just didn't feel good. I mean, the defense started off and I was like, oh gosh, are they really going to do this? They settled down. They were fantastic. And then it was like the offense, it just never quite anything. It never got going. It was never moving. It never felt comfortable. I felt like everything we felt the past 3 weeks, we didn't get that feeling at all. I never felt that way. And then Boz missing the field goal, like it just did not feel good at all. It just didn't feel good. So but shout out to the defense.
Shout out to the defense, and always shout out to both of y'all, because y'all are right on, right where I was at mentally. We were missing DK. Absolutely right with that. The unfortunate thing is it wasn't just DK that was missing, right? Calvin Austin was not supposed to be a part of that equation. Darnell Washington missing the whole second half with a broken arm was also not supposed to be a part of that equation. And why does that matter? If it's just DK Metcalf out the lineup, you're not getting Denzel Ward on MVS or getting Tyson Campbell per se on Adam Thielen. One of those guys has to deal with Calvin Austin. So in turn, it's going to open up to create a better matchup for one of the other guys who aren't, getting paid $20-30 million. That's what DK being out there does. So even when he's not getting targets, he still draws one of their better corners off of one of our elite or non-number one wide receiver. So that's the cause and effect that we saw there. Then when we talk about the offense in terms of the flow, and it's just kind of feeling off. Well, the other part was this defense that we went against, the Browns defense. Everybody does know that that is actually one of the things that they do really well. They have a top end defense, and they specialize in playing the pass, right? They can rush the quarterback, and they play really good man-to-man defense. So when you throw that in there, now it really stymies what you're trying to do, and it highlights the missing of a DK and a Calvin Austin on top of that. Perfect storm, all those things, it still doesn't matter because we all felt the same way, right? We still should have found a way to get out of there. Now, Mark, you brought it up at the end, or you brought it up the last sequence, right? The 3 passes to MVS. Let's start there, man. How did y'all feel about that?
Well, I wanted to ask both of you, did you think the final play that the Steelers had the ball was pass interference? Because I thought it was, considering two things. The ball was catchable, and then number 2, Ward never really turned around to make a play on the football, and that's almost always called in the NFL for one reason or another. The referees did not call the pass interference. I thought it was. Did you two think it was pass interference on the Steelers' final offensive play?
It looked like pass interference. Just based on not looking.
Yeah.
And I play this weird game with the refs though, because it's like part of me is like, do I think it's pass interference? Yes. Did I also think some of those calls were holding calls, especially when like Cam Hayward was getting held by his leg and then was still able to make the tackle? Yeah. But it's like, I hate that we have to trust them to make a call. That's what's frustrating. So do I think it was pass interference? Yes. But I'm also just more frustrated that we did the same thing 3 times in a row. Because what was that?
Okay. So as it pertains to the call, as a defender, I was fine with them not throwing the flag. I thought that it was still good position. I didn't think he was early to the party. But on the other side, it's like, yes, as a dude that when we just lost, of course I want the flag. Yeah, give me the flag. Absolutely. But to me, to put it in perspective, if that's JPJ in coverage and they throw that flag, I'm livid. Because I didn't think that it was egregious. I didn't think that it was anything that that restricted MVS. I just thought that MVS just didn't get up and get the ball. And we can get into should he have caught it, should he not have caught it. I looked at it more of that versus it being true PI. But the flip side is, yeah, if they would have threw the flag, because we know at times they can be very ticky-tack. We know at times we've watched wide receivers 2-hand extended shove not get called, and we've seen the DB barely bump the receiver, and it's every person in the stadium is throwing flags. So we know it's never going to be completely slated down the middle with that. So that's why my answer is that. But I was fine with it not being called. But TaNeisha, it sounded like you had a little bit of grievance with the 3 consecutives to MVS.
Yeah, I didn't understand. Pat Freiermuth gets you down there, and Gainwell. I feel like we get into these moments where I'm like, okay, the offense is this, right? The offense is we're going to see if Gainwell's open or Warren. We're going to look for them, and then we're going to. And then it's like we get in these moments where I'm like, we just did this. Did we just do the same thing 3 times in a row? Is that what that was? And it just And again, I also don't think Aaron Rodgers played particularly well. And so I think that kind of fits into this as well. When I look at his total performance for the game, I don't know what he was looking at or what he was seeing to why he decided to do that multiple times in a row. Now, again, I haven't watched anything. I didn't even watch the playback. I didn't even watch the replay back of the play. So I didn't even because for me, I'm just like, what was he seeing that made him do that 3 times in a row when there were other options?
I'll hop in here, TaNeisha. Yeah. I thought Rodgers missed Kenneth Gainwell, who was wide open on, I think it was the last throw, wide open over the middle. Now, I know Rodgers has a previous relationship with MVS, but again, the Steelers signed him on November the 4th to the practice squad. They elevated him to the active roster just earlier this month. You're going up against a player in Denzel Ward, who is a 5-time Pro Bowl cornerback, who's as good a cornerback as there is in the NFL when he is healthy. The only thing that's really limited Denzel Ward during his career has been injuries. We're talking about a player who was the 4th overall pick when he got selected by the Browns several years ago. And the Steelers are targeting a player who's just brand new to the team as of mid-season. And so I look at, okay, maybe they found something with hitting Freiermuth over the middle late in the game when they couldn't really do much. Darnell Washington isn't out there, but why not try to go back to that or design a play for Freiermuth to make a play or Freiermuth to go up and make combat catches, something we saw that he has the ability to do back when Big Ben was the quarterback. So like that's something where MVS has maybe done that in previous instances in his career, but he hasn't done that in a Steelers uniform, given when they brought him in and why they're trying the matchup with Ward. It's very head scratching to me. And again, so is that on Arthur Smith or is that on Rodgers for simply missing the throw? I mean, it's all of the above, but to me, they found something with targeting Freiermuth over the middle. Mm-hmm. To me, that should have been more part of the game plan of, okay, establish the run with Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell and set up the play action pass for Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith and Washington before you went down with an injury. That's what Bill Cowher was saying pregame before the game. That would have been more my strategy.
No, I think that's all fair, man. And yeah, you would love to have seen more move targets. Move still was productive, but yeah, absolutely. No DK. You want to see more of that. The end sequence to me, I'm back and forth on a couple of reasons. I know all of the accolades that goes to Denzel Ward, but when you out there on the field, man, we don't care about any of that. If that's the case, it's like, why even line up versus Myles Garrett, right? Because it's all world Myles Garrett. You're defeated before you even get out there. So I get why Rodgers and MVS weren't tripping on Denzel Ward, because anybody that's out there on that field feels like they nice. Anybody that's out there on that field feels like they could win that. And even listening to MVS after the game, even he said, he's like, yo, I should have made some plays, because he feels like he should have came down with one of those three. But you could also see worse miscommunication. And the other thing is this, MVS is new to us as Steelers fans. Rodgers has more reps to MVS than anybody on that team right now, if you think about it, just because of their history. So that's the other part, whereas we would all agree as humans, right? If I'm telling you, Mark, you got the game on the line, you can go with the person that you have a history with, a certain confidence in, or you can try something different. The majority of us are going to side with the familiarity. We're going to go down with what we know versus going down, maybe throwing it to Scotty Miller or maybe throwing it to Roman Wilson. Because remember, early on, we had a 4th down attempt where we did go away, right? And everybody lost their mind about it. Why would you throw it deep to this guy on that guy? It's like, well, you don't want to be predictable. So you have to try new things. If you're going to continue to try new things, some things aren't going to work. And when they don't work and it ends the drive, we're all going to feel a certain way about that. But that's the part of not having DK out there. And that's why when you say, hey, when you make the decision that you made last week, yeah, we get it and we support it, but there are still actions that come off of that. And this is the effect of that action. It's unfortunate, but you live with it, because unfortunately, that's not about to change next week either, right? Mm-hmm. DK ain't gonna be out there, and more than likely, you're not about to have Calvin Austin out there. So you're still looking at the same, right? So you're still looking at the same people, and the only other person that we're gonna throw in the mix is Roman Wilson. And there's going to be a lot of questions about where he is in terms of his development and his overall just comfort in this offense. So that's the part where it's hard for me to just fault in a gotta have a situation, you default into, this is the guy that I know. Hindsight 2020, yes, we all have seen Gainwell. We all have seen Booth. It's like, yes, man, pause the tape. These guys are open right here, right now. Yeah, after the fact, it's so easy to do that. But in that moment, I understand why he's going to MVS. I don't love it. And this is the part where, as a professional, he has to go back and ask himself, why did I do that? And what can I do differently next time? And that's the same thing with Arthur Smith, because we did not use these tight ends nowhere near enough from my eyes.
At all.
Shoot, second quarter, I don't know if y'all saw the second quarter, Carson Swearinger, their all-world middle linebacker, is clearly limping, clearly hurt. And we don't attack that. We treat that as if, hey, he's a regular guy. And that was the part where, even if on the sideline you don't understand, you can't see that, there is somebody up in the booth that is looking down there, and you can see who is hurt, who is moving. You have to communicate that. That, to me, is an issue. That was a breakdown in communication that really hurt us.
I'm with you, because they finally started targeting Freiermuth over the middle on the final drive, and it was effective. Now, I know that the opposing defense is protecting the sideline to conserve clock, but there's multiple layers to this onion, Arthur, of what happened in this final sequence, because you mentioned Roman Wilson. 0 targets today. He's in his second year. He's a 3rd-round pick a year ago. We're talking about Adam Thielen getting more targets and snaps. MVS, Scotty Miller. And
What does that say
let me
about
remind
Roman?
you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let me
What
remind
does it
you,
say about
DK and Calvin Austin III didn't even play today. So it's like, if not now, when is it ever going to happen for Roman Wilson in a Steelers uniform? Again, 0 targets today. It's unbelievable.
Once again, though, Mark, and TaNeisha, we've had this conversation. There isn't a special, hey, because you got drafted, you're automatically going to play well, or because we cared about what you did collegiately, you're automatic. It's like you have to earn it. You have to go out there every single day. You want to target, you better create some separation. You want to target. That's why Thielen gets these. Why do you think MVS gets targeted so much with Rodgers? Because he's seen him. You remember just a week ago, he scored a touchdown, right? Was it? Am I tripping? What he just scored a touchdown, or was that 2 weeks ago? It was. He literally just scored a touchdown on a deep over route. It was a deep overpass. He caught it. Literally, it is. It's like, yo, we've gotten production from MVS even more recently. So that's the part where I look at these players and it's like, yeah, we can put this on coaches, but man, you said, how long have you been here? You are no longer a rookie. If you want to be a player, you better go out there and show us. These are opportunities for him. It's not like he's not getting opportunities. Did he play 0 snaps? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Right? It's like, man, if you got a helmet, you have a chance to do something impactful. Something, man. But that's the frustrating part from my eyes, because we're going to look at that and we paint that as if that's a coaching issue. It's like, no, dude, you've been here for how long? Go make a play, man. You got a helmet on. You got a helmet on game day. Go make a play, man. Nothing stopping you from doing that.
TaNeisha, I want you to hop in here, but the last point I'll make with the receivers is this. This is why right in advance before the trade deadline, we were all clamoring, could the Steelers make a move and trade away one of their 12 draft picks to go get a receiver who will make a difference? And this is not a knock on Thielen or MVS. The Steelers got them for what they got. I know there were rumors they were in the sweepstakes for Jacoby Myers. I know there were rumors where Olave or Brandon Ayuk or whoever the receiver is. This is a repercussion of that when DK and Calvin Austin don't play and you don't have your true blue chip difference makers. Like, Rodgers is 42 years old. He can't throw the ball to himself. And this is the result of that, of why we were clamoring for who could be a difference maker, who could be a true wide receiver to complement DK.
Yeah, but that would also say, just to piggyback on that, any team that loses their top 2 wide receiver threats are going to be dealing with what we're dealing with. If you take Jamar Chase and T. Higgins off of the Bengals lineup because they're injured, what are we saying about that group? If we take A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith off of the Eagles lineup for a week, what are we saying about that group? So that's the other thing that when I look at this, it's like, yeah, we are down DK and Calvin Austin. Nobody is planning for both of these dudes to be out at the same time. Now, granted, one is because of a self-inflicted issue, right? Hey, DK, please don't go to the sideline anymore. Just ignore all fans. Don't even think about a fan anymore, all right? But that's the part where it's just like, yeah, we down the top 2 guys. It's not like we down just one guy. It's both of them.
Yeah, I think the thing that's terrible, though, is we knew when the game started we were down those 2 guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
I never saw us do anything that proved to me that we knew they were down those 2 guys. Now, obviously, we all know they knew they were down those 2 guys. But I felt like when I was watching them play, I just not using Firemouth more, not using Jonnu Smith more, not using Hayward more, not you have all these tight ends. Do something, like use them. Give us some packages, give us something with them out there. I just, the frustrating thing, and again, I think this might be the 3rd worst game that Aaron Rodgers has had this year, because I didn't think he looked good against the Chargers. And what did we score? 10 points. I didn't think he looked good against the Bills, and I don't remember how many points he scored there, but it was just like, this is another game where I thought Aaron Rodgers, there's certain moments in times, and maybe this is just how I feel, where you know that you're shorthanded. So you can't be another part of that snowball. You have to be the changer. You have to be the difference maker. You have to be the positive impact. He wasn't that today. It's almost like we just don't got it, guys. Like, we just don't have them. We don't have our guys. I don't have it either. Like, I'm not going to make, like, it just seems like nobody stepped. The defense did. Nobody on offense stepped up and became the difference maker. It was just like everyone was just waiting for somebody else to do it. And it never happened. And that was, I think, the most frustrating, was like going into halftime, I'm like, is somebody going to tell somebody, hey, Like, we have these tight ends. Throw them all out there. Like, why not? Like, why not throw them all out there? See what's going to happen. I just don't understand. I don't know what our game plan was when we came into the game. And then I don't know what it was when Washington left. Where were his touches? Where do those touches go? Don't we have other tight ends?
Yeah, and I think early on the game plan was just get the ball out quick. But we know people get frustrated with just getting it out quick. And I think that that's where they're trying to figure out, okay, when to take those shots down the field, because otherwise you're going to get killed up front, right?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know who Myles Garrett is. You know how good that defense can play at times. So I think that that's, what you see. And then when you don't have your playmaker, so now you're taking quick approaches, and these are based on the mindset is get it out quick, make a guy miss a tackle, and now we get what we're looking for. But your two most explosive run after catch guys are on the sideline, DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin. So once again, perfect storm. So now you're still trying to play through your Kenneth Gainwells, your Jalen Warrens, and running the football. We did do that well at times. Mm-hmm. But because I think it was, once again, just knowing that, hey, these are the two options that give them, in terms of the Steelers, the best chance to move the football. Yeah, the Browns, I thought, played that well. You saw one play where Devin Bush is making a nice tackle in space. It's like, hey, D. Bush, if you was doing that more consistently here, you would have never left, bro. Like, come on, man. Yeah. But that started to happen. And then you would also see some of their safety matchups versus our tight ends. And that's the part where I want to go back and look at the film from all 22 standpoint to see, was it as sticky as I thought, or were some of these guys being open and Rodgers is missed? I hope it was just Rodgers missing and not Grant Delpit locking up the guys. But at the same time, if it is Grant Delpit locking up the tight ends, I can understand that because Grant is a good player. But that's the part that I got to go back and watch that, because that's going to give me that answer. Because otherwise, yes, why weren't we targeting these tight ends more? Why weren't we utilizing those guys more? Because no wide receivers that are proven, right? No DK, no Calvin.
The only option we had.
All the targets should have went back into the interior part of this offense with these tight ends.
If you would have told me going into today that the Steelers would have one time of possession, Pittsburgh had the ball for 30 minutes and 39 seconds, and won the takeaway battle 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have been like, how much did the Steelers win by?
Mark, don't shortchange it. Not just those two. Time of possession. You talk about the turnover battle. They had more rushing yards as well, right? We got to throw that in there. It's like, dude, you outrushed them, had the ball longer, didn't turn the ball over.
Total yards as well.
Total yards as well.
This is one of those games. Yeah. This is one of those games I tell people, like, stats are going to tell you a part of what's going on, but they're never going to tell you the full picture. Because watching that game, I mean, and I'm a Shador fan, but watching that game, Cleveland was dead in the water. Like that offense was going nowhere. Like nowhere fast. He was
trying to throw the game away, TaNeisha.
Seriously.
Dude.
And so for me it was, and even
shout out to Duggar catching it too, guys. Duggar caught the pick, guys.
Duggar literally just
shout out to catching the pick, bro.
Yeah, but what about who dropped it? Who was the guy that dropped it?
It was Herbig on the second.
Like literally a pick six, literally a pick six. You drop it. Okay. And shout out to Jack Sawyer. Just making plays, just, out there doing his thing.
And look, and fire Terrell Lawson for putting these linebackers in coverage. I know y'all can't stand these linebackers dropping in coverage.
I liked it.
Fire all the
This goes back to what the lack of offensive identity is, though, is with the two takeaways Pittsburgh had, 0 points off the takeaways.
Nothing. Yeah. And I think one of them might have been like a 3 and out, or one of them just was like bad. And I'm just like, oh my God. Or no, I think that was the 4th down play. That was when they did the 4th and 1 in the end zone. But again, it's just like, there's so many things. I feel like it's a perfect storm of things that happened, that playing against that team in that moment, and their home, with our lack of people that we have, they're in man. We can't do anything right. We're getting turnovers. It's just like nothing.
It was the battle of the defenses, and to me, I thought the difference was we allowed the touchdown early on in the game. It was the second series of the game where Shador is able to lead them down. That's the difference in it, realistically, because outside of that, neither offenses did anything. We won the turnover battle because we started to get those on the back end, but we had already spotted the points. Whereas for Cleveland, defensively, they never allowed a touchdown. Cleveland's defense is nice. We know that the perception around Cleveland is you're 3 or 4 and 12, so you have to be terrible. But their defense, how many Pro Bowls does Denzel Ward have?
First rounders. Look at all the first rounders on that defense.
Right. It's like they're a very talented defense. It's just perception, right? We don't perceive them to be good in any capacity. So when we're asking why is our offense struggling versus the Browns, it's like, do you know the Browns? Did you see what they did to the Bills offense too? They do to a lot of offenses, man. Like they make a lot of quarterbacks look off, right? And why is that? Because of the pressure. When you have pressure plus man-to-man coverage, you don't have big windows to throw into. And you don't have a lot of time to extend plays. So when you try to do the whole, man, I'm going to throw it anyways, F Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett has had games, plural, this year where he's had 5 sacks.
Multiple.
You're not just doing that. Okay, so it sounds good in theory. Oh, we should have done that. This is like, no, this is a defensive game. And when it comes down to the difference in it, our second series is what killed us in this game right here. Because we did allow Shedeur, which on tape, and TaNeisha, you can attest to this, every game that Shedeur has played in with the Browns this season, his first 2 series are his best 2 series. Oh, after that, you start to see the young stuff happen, whether it's holding on to the ball too long, a bonehead throw here or there, where you just question the young guy. But the first 2 series is almost perfection because that's where he knows every answer because that's the scripted portion of the call sheet. We just did not get enough of a stop in there, and that's the pros and cons of playing against guys that don't have a lot of NFL film. You're trying to figure out how quickly you can identify what he is doing in this matchup and now take that away. We figured it out after 2 series. After that, it was perfect. Yeah. But the problem was we allowed that touchdown early on. And now our offense is playing catch up. When they got that 10 point, it's like, yo, all right. This is about to be a tough one. Because we all could see early on our offense was going to have issues with this defense that they were facing. But those are some of the nuanced things. And then the missed field goal. Why does the missed field goal matter? Not necessarily because of what it gave you the lead, but the pressure it puts on Shedeur. It puts a different level of pressure on Stefanski when he's talking about the play calling. Heck, Mark, the last sequence when we have the ball is different if we're only down 1 point versus being down 4 points. It's like, that changes the whole feel of it. So those are the little things that take place when we ask, why do you lose to this team? What's going on? It's just a sequence of a whole bunch of little stuff that happens. And now before you look up, it's like, oh, now it's gotten weird. And now we're on the goal line praying that we can find a way to score a touchdown. We got to take 3 shots to MVS. Still crazy that as bad as it was, it came down to us being on the goal line with a legitimate chance to win with 3 legit shots, right? As bad as it was. And that's the part that I just find comical because it's like, yo, how do you say it, TaNeisha? Elite average. There you have it. It's like, yo, there you have it. This is what that is right there.
Elite. Yeah, that defense stood up. They did every even them giving up 13 points. In my opinion, you only give up 13 points in an NFL game. That is a win plus. And they did that. It's just their counterparts were like, well.
I want to go to this insane stat. The Steelers 0-4-1 in their last 5 games against teams entering 8+ games below 500. That ties the longest active such streak in NFL history. This was a game we had to shut the door. Yeah, I got you.
My brain, I'm like, wait, I can't compute it. Too many numbers.
0-4-1, last 5 games. So 4 losses, 1 tie. In their past 5 games against teams that are 8+ games below 500.
Got it. It's a bad team.
This was a game where it's like you shut the door, you secure your playoff position, and you can chill in the final week of the regular season and get healthy and rest players like, I don't know, TJ Watt. And now it's a winner-take-all scenario in the final week of the regular season. The game's going to get flexed, by the way, too, into prime time of some sort. But it's just like, it is just incredibly frustrating after today. Like, today is probably the most frustrated I've been. And, like, now it's like, well, the problems with the offense. I want to debunk something really quickly here. I understand the need to get the ball up quick when you're going up against Myles Garrett. But there's now a narrative after this game because the Steelers lost of, they were too focused on preventing Myles Garrett from breaking the sack record. Like, Myles Garrett sacking Aaron Rodgers isn't a good thing.
And that's It's tricky. It's tricky because there's a fine line between both things just happen to be true and they're the same point, right? Like we don't want Aaron Rodgers to get sacked ever. Like we don't even want him to be touched by our own players, and we don't want Myles Garrett to get the sack on him, and he's trying to get the sack record. So it's all true. But also not intentionally what I think people think it is.
Why you had to say it like that though, man? Like I'm trying to hold it together.
Because I said it in my video, but then I thought I didn't mean it like it was sounding. But it's the same. It's one
true.
and the same.
It is true. Yeah. It's like, no, we don't want him to break the record, but absolutely not. We don't want him to have any type of pressure, any type of hits, because we know firsthand what that does to games. And we watch TJ Watt do it all the time. It's like those guys that get highest paid all time, like you don't just pay that unless that can truly wreck your day. So you have to bastardize your scheme. You have to bastardize your offensive approach. And there are going to be things that we hate because of that. But that's why those guys are who they are. No different than if you have an elite quarterback that can run and pass. It's like, hey, you better not play too much man-to-man because when you turn your back with this guy, he's going to take off for you, right? But hey, if you sit in his zone for too long, he can pick your part. It's like, yeah, that's why he is who he is. So there are certain parts that, yes, both all of it is true, but it is funny though, because that is definitely the narrative right now. It's like, why were you so focused on that?
It's as if like that contributed to Pittsburgh losing. And I'm
if he would have got the sack, we would have won. That's what they're saying.
I don't understand it. And anyone who makes that argument, I'm like, are you just trying to troll the Steelers and Steelers fans? That's the conclusion I come to because, again, to my knowledge, and I'm 32 years old, but an opposing player sacking your quarterback isn't a good thing.
Especially not when your quarterback is 42 years old.
Like, yeah. With the cast on his wrist on top, I'm like, y'all want him to get hit? Like, I blame Romo because Romo dropped that seed in everybody's ear last week saying, yeah, he should have took the sack. And everybody thinks that you want your quarterback to just take sacks. No. We don't want your quarterback to ever get hit. We wouldn't even want you breathing on the quarterback.
Hang on.
Even in you'll get fired if you breathe on a quarterback too hard in practice. I'm just like, I've seen it. I've literally seen it. Like, yo, get him out of here. Like, yeah, what are we talking about?
Arthur, in Romo's defense, he was talking about the situation with the clock and trying to get it down to the 2-minute warning.
I have an issue with Romo either way, Mark. No, I have an issue because all day today, I'm in the booth. I'm doing the whole studio thing. And you know what I got to keep hearing in my ear? Hey, man, but Garrett's going to break the sack record. They got your man. Garrett's going to break the sack record. You know, Garrett's. I'm like, yo, if you tell me about Garrett and this sack record one more freaking time, man. All right, so no, I have an issue. And I'm a Romo guy. I take it back to when Romo fumbled the freaking hole in the field goal and hurt my little Cowboys heart when I was a kid, all right? So I got history with Romo. But dang, Gordon, man, I was sick and tired of it, Mark. I'm tired of it, okay? He kept talking up, so I was glad that he didn't get the sack. I'm glad. Yeah, he's going to get the sack. It's going to happen today. It's going to happen today, Joe. It's going to happen. No, it ain't.
They tricked Nance. They tricked Nance, and he thought he broke the record, but it was Alex Wright and not Garrett. Like, Nance is ready to deliver the call.
Oh, here it is, White.
And it's Alex Wright with the sack.
I'm like, man, if y'all don't chill, like, calm down. Golly, man. So, yes, I'm not going to allow Romo to get any of that off. Nope. Issues.
And especially because, like, everybody acts like we're not supposed to know where Myles Garrett is at all times. Like
that's a bad thing all of a
if
sudden.
you go up to the line of scrimmage and you never think about Myles Garrett at all.
TaNeisha.
And again, Myles Garrett against Aaron Rodgers. I mean, fragile, 42, slow, older, aging, all the things. Like, of course against he knows where Myles Garrett is.
Against a mutant.
Mark. Myles Garrett had 3 sacks a year ago. We was all firing Dan Moore. We was firing Pat Meyer. We was firing everybody, right? Everybody was getting fired. That's all. I'm just like, yo, this is like, come on, man.
And the last time that we played them, I don't think he had a sack then either, did he? I think he sacked us against the Steelers this year.
Yeah. And look, all them other sacks that he's had have been against everybody else. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Because we have a plan. We know how to deal with TJ Watt every day in practice. If you deal with TJ, you know what market or you know what Miles is.
Counterpoint here. Let's just live in the world where we were avoiding, Myles Garrett breaking the record against us. I think that's a really good game plan. I appreciate that Aaron Rodgers knew where he was and everything. I think let's just say it's true, Mark. Let's say, yeah, sure. Yeah. They were trying to make sure that he didn't break the record. They were, because they didn't want their quarterback to get sacked. Yeah. What's wrong with that?
And Dylan Cook making his third or fourth
start? Yeah. Shout out to Dylan Cook too, man. Dylan Cook has been a breath of fresh air, has he not? Yes. Not just pass blocking, but run blocking as well. I mean, this is another week now where we're looking and we're saying, hey, man, we rushed over 100 yards, right? And we talk about some of these runs, your favorite toss plays included, but these are hitting on the left side of the line of scrimmage as well, man. Yeah,
that's
see, shout out, right? See, and it's
that's when I've been broken.
You see it. You see it.
I'm like, at this point, I don't care. Just throw something out there. But but
I was liking that though. Yeah.
Since I'm on the offense, so here it goes. So this is the offensive plays. So we had 3 plays punt, 10 plays field goal, 4 plays punt, 4 plays downs. 10 plays field goals, 5 plays punt. Missed field goal, 13 plays. 4 plays punt, 3 plays punt, 4 plays downs, and then 8 plays game's over. So it's like, just, yeah. Watching this offense sometimes, it's so frustrating because you're just like, somebody do something. At this point, anybody, like just somebody make a play and do something. But then when it's over in 4 plays, you're like, oh, run the defense back out there again. Woo!
And it's funny too, though. It's so funny too, because like statistically, they actually are one of the better offenses in the league, which is crazy, like in terms of their ability to score points. But this is where you can just see where, hey, it's not in a traditional manner, and it really gets highlighted on days like today. And that's where it's like, man, you just hope that the complimentary element will show up, but we didn't do our job, right? Because we missed a field goal. When you miss a field goal, that is no different than you giving up a sack, or you turning it over on offense, right? Or you allowing an explosive play, or you allowing a touchdown on defense. Everybody has to do their job. And that's the part where we just weren't buttoned up all the way. And
not everybody
goes to show, regardless of the record, the stat that you read off is a perfect reflection of that. It just lets you know that regardless of the team, if you do not operate cleanly, if you do not operate at your best level, you're capable of getting beat by any of these teams, because all of these teams have good players, right? When we bring up any of those teams that had more than 8 losses coming into the game, we're still going to point and be like, yeah, that's a Pro Bowler. He's nice as heck. He can start for us. Yeah, that guy's nice. Heck, we're talking about a Cleveland Browns team that is going to have the runaway favorite to be the Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah. Arguably going to have a guy that's going to be in the conversation for Defensive Rookie of the Year in Carson Swearinger. We talk about Denzel Ward and Tyson Campbell in terms of how well they've played. It's like, yo, Mason Graham, what was he? I forgot which round he was drafted in, right? Yeah. Devin Bush is the afterthought, and we know that was our top 10 pick. You see, it's like LSU, Del Pick is another one. Absolutely. Come on now.
Draft. Yeah.
Right. So it's like,
I'm wondering,
as bad as they are, they got talent. Yeah.
But with that stat, I'm wondering how much of them are against teams that still have great defenses. Because I think that's usually our kryptonite, is playing against a team that has
I know 2 of those were from 2 years ago. The Cardinals and Patriots game. You remember when we went, it was Cardinals, Patriots, and I think it was one other team that we lost. It was like 3 in a row. But that Patriots defense I thought was good, but I didn't think they were like world beaters, were they?
I don't know, I'm just noticing a pattern. So for me, as a Steelers fan, right, these are the games where it's frustrating. And you're like, of course, everyone's going to be like, of course we lost this game. We're the Steelers. Mike Tomlin, fire them. I got it, right? This is where that comes out. This is the standard time where all the Steelers fans unite, and they're like, see, this is another Tomlin loss. How dare us lose this game? Like, this is how it goes, right? But then when I'm thinking about, and I'm just thinking about the history of this team, I feel like when this happens, it's always against a team that has a good defense. And it's always because our offense is always just sputtering. It's just like, it just can't. And obviously our offense is down because we lost 2 of the guys that we really need out there. And so I think that there's a bigger picture that's happening here where, because our defense is good, we're okay against teams that can score, because we can kind of nullify some of their scoring because we have a great defense. But we struggle when we come up against a good defense being down anything, because our margin for error in that side of the football is so low. And as Steelers fans, we're not used to that because we're used to having Ben, and we make where we're lacking on offense, we can make up for it because he's going to make a play. We're going to figure some things out, and our defense we'll figure it out, but I think it's flipped and we don't know what to do with it. And we've been this way, I think, for like 4 or 5 years, where it's like, our offense is just not, and usually it's the quarterback position. And I won't say it's Aaron Rodgers' fault that DK's not out there, because it's obviously not his fault. But some of the decisions that he was making today, I'm just like, man, what are you seeing there? I wish I knew like what he saw that made him do some of those things, because I don't know, maybe the tight ends weren't open. Maybe I'm just living in a fantasy world where they were, but it just felt like, I'm just like, is this the best we got right now, Rodgers? Like, talk to me. It's like, is this what's happening? That's what it just felt weird to me.
Now, what about you, Mark? How'd you feel about that, man?
What specifically?
Man, more importantly, we'll start with some of the targeting stuff, right? Because to me, I always look and I say, man, quarterbacks have to make a decision when they're putting the ball out there. Do they want to give a guy a chance? Do they want to take what is deemed as a high percentage safe throw? Or do they just feel like they can make a play here, right? And what I say and what I mean is this, right? We looked at the Scotty Miller pass on 4th down. We look at the MVS 3 shots in the end zone. High percentage, safe, low in the sense of potential for turnovers. Now, do we like necessarily the chances of those passes being completed? Nah, because it's 50-50 balls, right? And it's a lot more of a challenge. Whereas, we can take some of these shots across the middle of the field. And I think we saw even on the move catch, it was like, man, that was a heck of a throw, heck of a catch. But you see how we have to emphasize that's a heck of a throw, heck of a catch. That means it's a lot more difficulty. It's a lot more room for things to go wrong in that scenario versus hey man, it's outside. Nothing. Worst case is gonna fall harmlessly to the ground and you're gonna overthrow it out of bounds, right? Hey, we're gonna throw it to the sideline and Kenneth Gainwell. Worst case, you're gonna get tackled for 3-yard loss. Best case, you might make a guy miss. Who knows? You might hit something. But how do, like, in terms of when you're watching it, because that was something that, for TaNeisha, she felt, and she's like, yo, man, what are you looking at? What are you seeing in that sense? How do you feel about some of that stuff?
Let's talk about the 4th and 1 play to Scotty Miller. Darnell Washington was out of the game by that point, if I'm not mistaken. And so they asked Mike Tomlin about that in the post game, saying, like, did that impact the decision of could you do tush push, Steelers shove, Pittsburgh plunge, whatever you want to call it, with Connor Hayward under center, and then Darnell Washington's one of the people literally pushing him across the line of scrimmage. And when you saw that when they went to that formation later on in the game, it was the end round of Connor Hayward, and he had 20-plus yards on a run to the outside.
In that bag.
So another iteration of it, but it wasn't just the plunge right up the middle to get the yard or two. I would have liked to see them just get the yard or two and live to see another down. I understand Scotty Miller's got a one-on-one there, but it's Scotty Miller. Like, again, this goes back to with DK and his decision and the interaction with the fan and the repercussions of that. Yeah. If DK Metcalf doesn't make the play and he's your money player making $30+ million on an average annual salary, cool. You're trying to get it to your money players. And a lot of times your money players are going to make money plays. Again, Rodgers can't throw the ball to himself. So, Mike Tomlin's going to take his fair share of criticism. But without DK, without Kevin Austin III, without Washington, what is it that you're going to try to do? And the tight end should have been a bigger part of the game plan. We've been saying this all year long with Freiermuth of why he isn't targeted more in this offense, and especially with those players out today. I thought when they targeted him, he did well with the ball in his hands, and maybe they found something at the end of the game where it's like, oh, let's target him over the middle. Freiermuth's best game ever as a Steeler came a few years ago. In the very first game, the Steelers fired Matt Canada. And what did they do? It was against Cincinnati. They threw and targeted him over the middle repeatedly and forced an opposing defense to stop it. I would try to do that. And again, maybe I'm looking too much at the salary caps, but it's like you're paying him enough money versus giving the ball to other guys that you're not paying. It to me, it's just like it's not that difficult. Freiermuth, and then Giannis Smith's been a Pro Bowler as well. 5 catches on all 5 of his targets, but They're not really throwing the ball down the field at all either.
Yeah.
I understand having to get it out quick with the pressure up front with Myles Garrett and company, but like whatever the game plan was, like, the Seinfeld episode where nothing's going right for George and he decides to do the opposite. If this is wrong and this is the result of doing everything wrong today, a week from now against Baltimore, and the Ravens don't have as good of a pass rush as the Browns do the opposite and see if you get opposite results. I don't know. Maybe I'm just speaking nonsense here. These are my thoughts when I watch this game this afternoon.
No, ain't nothing wrong with that. And I think the big difference, too, in the sense of the targets to Muth early in the game versus late in the game. Late in the game, we saw a different style of approach, right? We said, man, for the Browns, it was more of a, man, we're protecting the sidelines. We're going to kind of get this freedom in the middle of the field. But we said more of a difficult throw. The big difference, though, in terms of why the Jonnu Smith gets the targets the way that he does, is because athletically, he is going to create that separation a lot quicker down by the line of scrimmage. But he's more of a short area quickness guy, whereas Muth is more build it up, take you down the grass. So if you're worried about pass rush, if you're worried about protection, Muth early on becomes null and void, because by the time Muth is 12 yards downfield, Myles Garrett has already turned this corner.
Yeah.
By the time Muth is running a deep end, man, Myles Garrett is already here. By the time Muth is running that corner route and we want to give it that beautiful air and he has a step, man, Myles is already hitting my quarterback. So that is the part where, yes, his game and even Darnell Washington to a degree, they get nullified unless they're doing the quick dump off. And that's where we get pissed off. And it's like, yo, why we keep doing this short passes? Why we keep doing this? Or why we keep trying to get it to Jonnu Smith on the perimeter, right? Trying to get him out here on the move where he can catch it and turn up. That's that whole byproduct of it. But that goes back to, the argument of why we wanted more receivers, or why we wanted upgraded receivers, right? To be more specific. Now, in terms of the Scotty Miller part, this the funny thing. You ready for this, Mark? You gave me all of that Denzel Ward, Pro Bowler stuff, but you know what Scotty Miller says when he goes to bed at night? I'm a mother effing Super Bowl champion wide receiver who's caught touchdowns in a playoff run on the way to winning that Super Bowl championship with Tom Brady. You feel me? So but I'm just telling you, like, the confidence that players have, that's what he said. So he's not looking at that one-on-one saying, yo, don't throw me this, or Rodgers, why did you throw me this? They're both saying, bro, you got one-on-one press coverage, man. You were fast as heck, win at the line of scrimmage. I'm going to give you something nice. The execution wasn't there, and that's the part where we all are pissed. That's the most frustrating part, because it doesn't validate the
Scotty
confidence.
Miller, like, I understand.
Once again, it's to you, because if Scotty Miller catches that, would you be saying, why did we throw it to Scotty Miller? No, your response would be, excellent catch, Scotty Miller. I'm glad you caught the touchdown. That's the thing. So it's like we're judging it based on the outcome. But to fault the guy for saying, man, I like my matchup because I got one-on-one press coverage versus a fast guy who did have a step. How do we act like that's a bad decision?
Yeah, and this goes back to Washington being hurt, so that takes away your tush-push. And then something we've talked about in previous post-game shows as well. When you've got Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell as your two running backs, the challenges that you have running between the tackles with those two players as your running backs. Arthur, you referred to them as chihuahuas.
We saw that. But we saw that also take place, right? We saw a 3rd and 4th down attempt where it was like, yo, we're trying to go laterally because we don't have this type of back.
We can't go
we saw what happened.
In the fourth quarter, it was about midfield, and they tried it was back to back almost. And Gainwell got dropped for a 2-yard loss on a key 3rd and 4, and Steelers had to punt.
Yeah, I think we ran it 3 straight times.
Yeah,
that play.
That was the alternative to the 3 passes. Yeah, we was like, yeah, we're gonna try to run it. It's like, yo, this is once again versus that we don't do this well. We hit you laterally, and those are there. Even the toss plays that we ran versus Detroit, those weren't downhill. We're running right at. No, it was, I'm gonna get you on the move. Oh, make a guy miss. Now this is where those guys really shine. That's the part where we look and we're like, yo, could we have had this, or could we have pivoted a different direction? Those are all the conversations that we're having now. And that's the same thing that those guys are getting paid to do, because they know Baltimore is looking at these same situations that they're going to have those same things, saying, okay, well, if there's not going to be a Darnell Washington, what are the things that they're going to do to try to pivot versus us? What are some of the things they're going to try to do to attack us? And that's the cat and mouse game that's going to be getting played right now too.
This is why I was so mad a week ago with what DK Metcalf had with the fan, because I figured he'd be suspended for at least one game. And Mike Tomlin, Arthur Smith, this coaching staff, that's the challenge going into the final week of this regular season, because okay, we know DK's not going to play. I'd be shocked if Washington could play with a broken arm.
Calvin Austin
the third with the hamstring.
Yeah.
Like, if you're actually going to go on a postseason push, you can't rush a hamstring back. So those same problems that you have this week repeat and revert next week against Baltimore in a winner-take-all situation. So it's like, that's why I was so mad a week ago, because you go back and look at the tape. I said, I'd be surprised if he's not suspended. And this is the result of that.
And that's the exciting part from my perspective, because now it's like, yo, who wants to be the hero, right? Well, you have everybody nervous. Everybody has already punted on the season, right? Hey, nobody different is walking in that door, offensively or defensively, right? The same way we're saying you don't want to rush Calvin Austin back. Do you want to rush back TJ Watt with the punctured lung situation? You want to be rushing that back? So I'm under the impression that, hey, no Pierre, no Eccles, no TJ. Guess what? It doesn't matter, because Baltimore's coming into the stadium and we know what's on the line. You win, you not only get the hat and t-shirts, you also get to host a playoff game. So you either gonna go out there and do that, or you looking for reasons to check out. You looking for reasons to ship your car. If you're looking for the reasons, man, there's plenty of reasons. It's plenty of reasons to unplug it, to, hey, I don't want this no more. It's too, But if you're the competitor, you look at this as, hey, bro, we got opportunities. Who's trying to get paid? MVS, you want to make more money? Go out there and catch you a touchdown. MVS, you want to show the people that you're not washed, you're not past it, Thielen? Hey, go out there and make some catches. Roman Wilson, you want to change the narrative on you, right? You want people to actually think that you're ready to play at this level, right? And you want to prove that it's a coaching issue and not a you issue. Well, hell, go out there and prove it. There is nothing stopping you from creating separation. There is. Who we gonna put out there in front of you? Calvin Austin? No, he on the sideline. Darnell Washington, we can't do that. So if you want to be great, if you want these opportunities, man, everything is right there in front of you. I love what I see from Jack Sawyer. Why? Because he's not looking for a reason to not make plays. He's like, bro, you want me to drop into coverage? Okay, I'll go catch a pick. You know how many people be like, oh, well, I just want to rush because it's all I do. Heck, you ever notice how hard Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren run back them kickoffs on kickoff return, right? We complained about Caleb Johnson being on special teams, right? Look at how the starting running backs, right? Both of them dudes over 500 plus total yards from scrimmage on the season, right? Both dudes having dope years. Watch how hard they play there. Why? Because they're not looking for reasons to not do it. They show like, bro, hey, I can be the reason. Let me show you I'm good. So I look at that and I'm excited. And it's versus a familiar opponent. So there is no reason to be checked out. There is no reason to act like you're better. It's like, yo, you know what this is. And newsflash, they trying to give to Derrick Henry 40 times. All right.
No, I know that. And here's the thing, too. Yeah. Metcalf against the Ravens when the Steelers beat Baltimore earlier this year had a season high 148 yards. So it's like how
man-to-man.
You try to replace that production offensively is going to be really tough. And King Henry, 216 yards, 4 touchdowns, and getting hot at the right time. Arthur, if we're running into another scenario where this game is like the drawn out battle we saw in the playoffs when these two teams played around this time a year ago, and Baltimore ran it 13 straight times and there wasn't a thing Pittsburgh could do defensively. What happened in that scenario, it's like, okay, the defense not being able to stop Baltimore's offense, but what happens when your offense isn't able to stay on the field and sustain drives either? And like, I wanted this one today because I wanted to sleep for a week. I wanted to rest up.
Mark, time out. No.
I wanted to look
have
past
a question.
The finale.
I have to call you out though, Mark.
Lay it on me.
We both know you would be the first one hollering about rest versus rust. What if we rush them? How long are we going to rush them? We can't sit Rodgers for 2 quarters because what if he's rusty going into it? So now we don't have to worry about any of that rest versus rust convo. Your playoffs start this week, baby. Let's go. December 1st, right? Hey, your playoffs start. Hey, January 1st, baby. Your playoffs start, baby. January's right over the corner. All right, it is playoff time here. All right, you know what we got to do. No rest. Play hot. Stay hot. It is what it is. Technically, we're more hot. We're 3-1 these last 4 games. So I'm like, yo, we sizzling. Let's ride.
I would have much rather had that conversation versus where we're at right now.
Trust me, Mark, I would have as well, okay? You know.
I would have too, Mark. I would have too. That would have been fantastic.
This just simplifies it, all right? It's kind of like when you hear the guys from 05, they're like, yeah, Bill Cowper, he wasn't mad with us when we lost. He just said, all right, man, just makes it simple. He just got to win them all on the road now, all right? So that's all this does for us, man. It just makes it where your back's against the wall early on. The funny thing is this, though. Baltimore has very similar issues, though. I mean, which quarterback are you getting, right? And we know you could try to run it as much as you want to run it. I'm trying to think back now. We got to go back to Buffalo, to the last time we really struggled versus the run.
That's true.
So, to me, I'm going off of 4 games where I've seen us play against some pretty dang good running backs, Baltimore included, where we actually did what we were supposed to do. And even with today's stinker of a loss, we outrushed them. Hey.
Yeah.
And we didn't really have any type of rushing threat, right? Never. Usually our MO is the non-name guy comes in and becomes a name, right? That wasn't today. That didn't happen today. So to me, I look at that and I say, well, we're about to find out. Heck, I have a little bit different vision, low key, when it pertains to Derrick Henry and them 36 carries. There's a reason why they haven't been giving him those carries all season. I want to see why. No. Because even when they lost to the Patriots, it was a whole 12 minutes left in the game. And it's like, yo, keep on the side. I want to know why. Are you worried about his availability? Are you worried about him holding on to the football? Are you worried about what that looks like the following week? Because he's not 22, right?
Yeah.
I want to see all of that.
Hey,
Father absolutely.
Time.
And it's different. It's different too if these are 15 carries for 200 plus. Those are explosive runs. 36 carries for 216 yards. Yeah, bro, you're getting hit a lot. You're getting hit.
Yeah.
That's a war of attrition.
He's not getting younger.
Okay. Yeah. So I those are the things that I know we're supposed to be spooked out because it's King Carry. I know. But those are the questions that I have because it's like, yeah, there's a reason why you haven't done that. There's a reason.
Yeah.
I tell you the reason why we don't target the tight ends. I tell you the reason why we don't really take shots down the middle of the field because we are petrified of that pass rush. And it shows, right? Why y'all ain't giving it to Derrick Henry, though?
Yeah, I think the other thing is and I've said it, I feel like this whole year, and this is the only year, it's just this offense. It's like, at this point, the defense is going to do what they're going to do. And I expect them to do what they're going to do. Do I expect them to shut out teams? No. Do I expect them to be perfect? No. I expect them to be humans. But I still expect them to be good as a unit. And I expect them to keep us in games. Yeah.
This is the line for perfect we want here. And I think this is reasonable. TaNeisha, this is very reasonable.
Fine.
When it asks for this,
that's fine.
Here.
Right. And that's
there.
fine. And that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that means that if we get, let's just say that line is Baltimore scores 10 points, right? Let's just say that that's kind of where we're at. We have to score 11. And my concern is it's like, okay, it's like, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's go rebuild the clay. Let's just start it all over again and say, who are our players? What is going on? Looking at that film, I don't do this. I know somebody will be all over it all week, looking at the film, breaking down all the things. And it's just like, for me, because the way my fandom works in the sense that like when I see the teams during game day, that's really the only time I see them. It's like now I'm taking everything I've seen them do all year. And the one thing that keeps me anxious is this offense. And it's kept me anxious all year. And now we have less options than we did before when it was keeping me anxious. And now I'm like, this is the moment. And funny thing is, just like we're talking about Derrick Henry, he's not getting older. Well, hell, neither is Aaron Rodgers. So my thing is like, this is his, 17th game as well. And so for me, I'm like, is he playing a little bit different? Has he gotten tight? Now, do I know any of this to be true? No. But it's also one of those things where I'm like, this is it, right? This is like all the marbles. I don't really care about all of those excuses and reasons. Like at this point, it's go time. And what do you have left in there to go? That's kind of where I'm at.
Oh, I think about TaNeisha.
Well, I was going to ask. Oh, go ahead. What you got?
I was going to say, to her point, like down the stretch, this is where I go back to a point where I made a few weeks ago where I say players, not plays. And what I mean by that is down the stretch, like who Pittsburgh should have gotten the ball to with the game on the line. If DK is available, ball's going to DK, or at the very least, DK is used as a decoy, and you have safety help over the top, and it frees someone else up. So he's not there. Is MVS really the guy you want to target? We talked about the rapport he has with Rodgers. Okay. But if it's just the Steelers we're talking about, it's like, okay, Warren or Gainwell, and then Freiermuth. Those are the three players who I want to see get the ball in that scenario in one way or another. With the game on the line, with the players you have available, like to me, those are the three that should be targeted and not MVS. That should, again, maybe I'm playing the results, but to me, it's like I close my eyes.
I don't think you're
like,
playing the results. No, I'm with you.
I think of the players and not necessarily the plays that you design, but like what can you do to get the ball in one of those players' hands, and you live the result then in there.
I think
that's how I think about that.
You're not wrong, and trust me, your thought process is the common thought process because it reflects the hierarchy, right? When we talk about the pay, hey man, DK, you're the hierarchy because you get paid the most. That's why we expect you to have the most targets. We look at Moot and say, hey man, if DK is out, then you're second highest paid, then you should get the second amount of targets, right? Jonnu Smith, and then of course Gainwell and Warren, right? I think the difference though is when you're actually like operating and you're having to be out there, you don't get the luxury of thinking of that in that sense. So the way it plays out, just from when I'm perceiving it, because clearly we know he could have came back to Gainwell, right? I think the clip shows is like, Gainwell is the option, his third option, but it's like, he's the check down that is coming free. But in that moment, you're saying to yourself, man, I have X amount of time. I got to make this play. I got a favorable matchup. I have a rapport with this dude. I trust this dude. So you know what? I'm going to give him a catchable pass. Dang, it didn't work. All right, man. I know in this next play, I don't like this option. I see they're going to do certain things right here to maybe take this away. Shoot, it might have to come right back to him. But you know what? I'm confident in him. Let's make it work. Dang, miscommunication. Now you can see where it's getting down to nut cutting time, right? Oh my, forgive me, TaNeisha. It's getting down to all the chips being pushed to the center of the table. All right. So we're all included. All right. So all the chips in the middle of the table, okay? And with that, now it becomes hey man, you better make the right decision and pray that you are validated with that. And unfortunately, that's where we get the hey, is it PI? Is it not PI? Could you have come down with it? How did we get here? But that's the sequence, and that's the part where I just say you go back to the film room. And this is the beauty of this not being in the playoffs. We get another chance. You go back to that film room, Rodgers is going to look at this in the same way that we are all hypercritical of that. He is going to do the same thing because he has to. You have to, because those situations, they will pop up again. And when they do pop up, you don't want to keep making the same mistakes. If we come up in this next week and we watching this 3 passes to MVS versus Marlon Humphrey, and it's the same result, we're all going to be like, yo, we did not do anything different. We did not change. So I don't anticipate that happening. But we have to live with it until we get a chance to see it in that scenario again. And that's just the frustrating part of, when you lose the game.
Arthur, to your point too, 36 carries for Derrick Henry against the Packers. That is a career high for him.
Okay. I have like legit questions about that, man. Because that is, I have to get out of the stadium, and I get it, man. Both teams down, both teams, trying to figure it out. But 36 carries is a lot of touches, man.
Yeah.
A lot. And for you to only have 200 yards off of that, I'm like, hey, bro.
How much
there
was carry?
There was a Derrick Henry that, if he had 36, he would have 500 yards in a game, right?
I mean,
you said how much? I got a calculator. I was never a math major. I ain't even about to lie to you like that.
I love Arthur's optimism, saying like it's just like a cold tub's gonna do Derrick Henry no good in the aftermath of a must-win game against Green Bay.
No. Trust me, man. We're never looking for reasons to minimize it. But what we are saying is, if you have 100 players, all I need is 2. I'm just trying to get 2 on you. Right? We're looking for those, though. What is the difference in some of this? That's the part that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I think if he had 216 and we said divided by 36 is 6 yards a carry, right? So still good. Like that's professional. That's varsity as heck. But 6 yards. It's not like we talking about 16 yards or 26 yards or explosives. Like, yo, you're getting hit, man. That's a lot of hits, man. So that's the only part for me that I just want to see what does that look like, because if the difference is, and we talk about this being literally a game of inches, and that's the hardest concept people to grasp, right? That's why 3-12 team or a team with 3 wins could beat a team with 9 wins. It's like, yo, y'all supposed to destroy them. We're like, no. What was the spread? Remember, Vegas had it at what, 3.5, right? Coming into the game.
Yeah.
It's not this drastic gap. So King Henry is King Henry when King Henry is what? 100% healthy. Big, explosive, strong, elusive. Once that is no longer big, explosive, strong, that's the part where now you're saying, okay, now you're just a bigger target.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that we're talking about. That's the difference of why you don't pay running backs over 30 traditionally, is because of they don't fall off a cliff. But now that guy that once was 4.4 is 4.5, right? That guy that once could put that foot in the ground and jump right back out of it with it, now it takes 2 steps. And at this level, that is a big difference. So yeah, I look at them 36 carries at him being about to be what, 30 plus years. I'm like, yeah, buddy. Yep. I need to see if that's going to be as Derrick Henry E or if it's just Derrick. Because I like to just play Derrick. If we can play versus Derrick, I love that. I've seen Derrick. Derrick was that was him early on in his career. He turned to King Henry after the fact. He was like, all right, now, okay. But let's see. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think, and I mean the obvious, right? The best compliment also to making sure that we can contain Derrick Henry is a rested defense. And the way that works is an offense moving the ball down the field. And so that's where it's like all of this plays all together. Like we're all in the same sandbox.
And
we're
better
all playing,
matchup too.
Yeah,
better
we're all
matchup.
playing
Ravens
this
defense
together. Yeah, and so it's like, and again, like this is what they get paid millions to do. This is their job. I got all of that. It's just for me now. It's like, and you always say this, Moats. You're always like, this is what I live for. This is what I like. This is what. Listen, you have that experience. Kudos to you. For me as a fan, now I have to wait all week, and I have to wonder, like, what are we talking about? What's being said? Who's going to play? What is it going to look like? What is it going to feel like? Because that's my experience. Is the anxiety space. I don't get to make a difference. I just get to cheer for it.
There's nothing wrong with that, though. Everybody has to find their space with it. And that is the beauty of life. That's why we have the ones that are going to be a little bit louder in terms of their grievances and the ones that are more positive with it. It's the balance, right?
Yeah.
But for both of y'all.
Here like, let's just, anyways, I mean, and again, but this is what we watch the game, right? This is football. This is what it all comes down to. But it's also one of those things where I'm like, gosh, like Mark said, I want to be here talking about who should we rest or should we play our starters? That's not what
I have a question for both of y'all then, man. Are y'all more concerned with our offense being able to score versus the Ravens, or are you more concerned with our defense being able to stop Derrick Henry?
Offense, because I think the offense ties to the defense and the complementary football piece, and that Pittsburgh winning time of possession, winning the takeaway battle, and they still lost. What happens if Baltimore is able to control the clock and the line of scrimmage and is able to move the football somewhat? I think the defense will hold up, and I don't think it's going to be 13 straight runs to where they run the ball down our throat en route to a touchdown drive. But what happens when the attrition component comes in? I'm still more worried about the offense because of the complementary football piece and leaving the defense out on the field if you're unable to sustain drives.
Yeah, that's me 100%. And I'm more concerned. I think when you have a game where the running back is going to be their staple, because at this point they have to try it because Baltimore has to also throw out everything at us to see what can work. And that's their curveball, as you
potentially
will.
No Lamar too, man.
That's the slider, right? Like that's the pitch is you throw out the guy who's 6'2", 230, like whatever he is. And you say, hey, here's the handoff. And in order for our offense to help take part in that, they have to do their job on their side of the football. And after this game, do I think that the Ravens defense is as good as the Browns defense? No, absolutely not. Do I think the Ravens pass rush is as good as the Browns? Absolutely not. So that can help us, but I also feel like we have to let it help us. And that's where I'm a little bit like, okay, offense, like this one's on you. I've always said, I think we're going to go as far as our offense is going to take us because our defense is going to do what our defense is going to do. This is the game where I'm like, all right, this is going to be all about the offense to me. So, a 10-minute drive and 7-minute drive and the defense is over there resting. I like our chances with that. Come on, Derrick Henry. Let's see what you got. Like, you're anxious. We're just ready to tackle you.
I'm just excited to hear that both of y'all are cool with the defense now. Because I felt like it was for so long. Get up here and be like,
for so long, they
yo,
were
this
rough.
defense up with this defense. Like, yo, Lord, can we just calm this down? Defense, please get them off me. Defense, please, Lord, just get them off. So I'm really happy to hear that. And honestly, I'm with you guys. I am not overly concerned with, stopping the run. Is it going to be a task? Heck yes. It is never easy to play against Derrick Henry. It's never easy to play against the Ravens when you got Patrick Ricard, right? The 300-pound bowling ball back there, making the rushing lanes even more expanded for Derrick Henry. But to me, I've seen us now play against that Baltimore rushing attack with Henry and Ricard. I've seen us play against Devon A-Chain and that Miami Dolphins rushing attack. I saw us play against David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs in that Detroit Lions rushing attack. And even today, we played against the Browns in their rushing attack. And it's like, I feel like we kind of got that part figured out. And I feel like we're actually even starting to catch the passes that are thrown to us. Not all of them, but we catching enough of them, right? It's just, it's a work in progress. Great defense catch every single one and running back for touchdowns. I already know, TaNeisha. Sawyer, why didn't you run it back for a score? You know what you do.
If he would
Score.
have cut it the other way, he would have scored.
That's why he plays linebacker and not tight end. Okay, gosh, man. God, we're getting on Herbig for dropping. It's like Herbig is a linebacker for a reason. Okay, if we were gonna play tight end, then hey, catch all of them. All right, hey. Shout out to the fact that it hit him in the face. Okay, hit him in the face with it. Literally hit him in the face with it. Right. One hit him in the face, and we got to pick off that. Shout out to Logan Lee. Right. Usually it works like that. But I'm confident defensively. I feel good about us. Offensively, though, the concerns are obviously right. When we talk about the wide receiver room, what does that look like? Now, I do feel like we will look better in that space because of the matchup. Also, these Baltimore corners aren't the same caliber corners, and we're talking about Tyson Campbell and Denzel Ward, who are very high level man-to-man corners, right? Good length, good arms. Like, they do that exceptionally well with a pass rush that complements that. Baltimore doesn't have those type of guys. Baltimore's approach is going to be more of the, smoke and mirrors at times, right? We know that that's how they get off, but Rodgers, you're not fooling him. So I do feel, even though I have my concerns about us being able to move the ball and score, I still feel like we should be able to do that better.
Arthur, do it better this week. To me, the corners are actually comparable with Wiggins and Humphrey, who's great at the peanut punch, but it's the lack of pass rush where,
see, I'm with you, but I'm just like, man, Denzel Ward is nice to me. I'm like, Humphrey's just a little bit older. You know what I mean?
He is older. And then Wiggins is still emerging. To me, Wiggins is just like your shadow, where if you've got a stud receiver, just kind of shadows them throughout the whole game. We're an hour in. Can I present my half-baked Steelers questions to both of you?
Yes, go. Hey, remember, Mark, it was just Christmas, all right? It was just Christmas, so be gentle with me, all right? Christmas lights. Christmas lights, be gentle.
The first one I don't think is very realistic. Can we slip DK Metcalf into another player's jersey so he can play in the finale? Like, he can wear Scotty Miller's jersey or MVS. That's MVS.
No. Put him in number 52. Whoever 52 is, they got that penalty today for the Steelers. That's who needs to get. Put him in that jersey, all right? I don't know who 52 is for the Steelers that was out there today, but that's the one. That's the one, all right? Absolutely. On a lighter note, though, shout out to the fact that the organization did decide to not void DK's guarantee. I know everybody was up in arms about that, and it was, hey, man, you lost $40 million, you son of a gun. Shout out to Mr. Rooney. Shout out to the organization standing by their player, man.
Clearly,
the Steelers are out there, man.
Yeah. Clearly, the Steelers are better with DK Metcalf than without DK Metcalf.
Yes. But Mark, you can say $40 million. Mark, I'm just saying. Do you want to know with the $40 million, Mark? We can say $40 million.
And I will. Oh, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead. You have.
No, I was going to say, hop in, TaNeisha, here about what you think about my theory of trying to get DK in uniform for the finale.
I think it's a great theory. I will say I do like now I'm turning the corner, because that's what I feel like I do with these shows. Like, it's like I make my videos and I come out, and then it's like over time I kind of get better. It's like warm me up and I get better. I kind of like that we had to play without DK today. Because now we're going into game 2 without him.
You see,
meaning we'll have that experience of okay, now we know what we don't have. Let's game plan around how that felt. Where were we lacking? Where were the areas, instead of being in that Ravens game and having that shock of like, oh my God, he's not here? Because I think that happened today. I think there were moments today where we were like, well, hell, what are we gonna? Well, who are we gonna? I thought
this would work, but this actually doesn't work.
It didn't quite work like we thought we practiced it. It wasn't quite good enough. And so now it's like, okay, take 2. So now that we saw what that looks like, we have that on film. Let's go back and watch that film. Let's get better. We can get better on things that we saw that didn't go well today. Do I want DK? Yes. But it's like, now I have to think of ways where we can get better based off what we saw today and take that and apply it to next game. But I want DK. Yeah. I mean, I do. Well, but
just to piggyback on that too, funny thing, and we joke about this all the time, it doesn't, stop it from happening. But you'll watch a guy make a play in practice, right? So Scotty Miller, for example, probably made that 4th and 1 bomb. He's probably caught that 10 times in practice, right? And we'll be saying, hey, man, it's different on Sunday because that ain't the practice squad corner you going against, you know what I mean? Or that MVS, man, them goal lines, he probably did hit that back shoulder, front side. He probably, we do this. All them reps we have, it's like, yo, that's dope. But Denzel Ward might play that just a little bit differently. Those are some of the things that you do have to account for. So going back off of what you said, TaNeisha, there are certain things that I'm sure they had a lot more confidence in going into this matchup because they thought, yes, man, this still can work minus DK. But getting out there, they had to see, yeah, man, this doesn't work. And we do it the same way on defense, right? Certain blitzes look way better when they have to respect TJ Watt. So it makes this guy look that way and this guy can run free. Yeah, but when that guy is the TJ Watt, that guys are going to be sliding the protection that way. They're not going to be concerned about all of these other things. But sometimes you actually have to go through it to get that full, get the full answer to it. Because otherwise offensive guys always believe it's going to work. Same way defensive guys always believe it's going to work. And sometimes you got to actually see, all right, dude, it didn't work. All right. Hey, this ain't working, bro. It ain't worked the first time. It didn't work the second time. Mark, it ain't worked the third time either. All right. So clearly we got to go back to the drawing board here. That's the part where I do also agree. I feel like they will look a lot better going into next week's game because of this week and because none of the variables in terms of personnel is going to be drastically different.
Please send some of that Yinzer water down to Raleigh. I need some.
No.
But Mark, think about it. In life, though, when have you seen something happen one time and you've said, God, if I had that to do all over again, I would actually do it this way. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. It's like anytime you get a second chance at it, whatever it is, whatever it is in life, we all have the thing. Anytime you get the second chance, you're like, all right, well, I know that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. Yeah. That looked good, but that's not gonna work. Scratch it.
And this is back to back. It's like,
now they
we ain't gotta wait for it.
And so that's all. And as a professional athlete, most times the second time around, that's why they say it's hard to beat a team twice, because the second time around you can make it a little bit better. And that's my expectation of the Steelers, right? We are an NFL organization. We have an NFL football team. Your job is to make it look better the second time around. The first time around was not good enough. So now the second time around, you have to make it look better.
And let's not forget the elephant in the room. As much as everybody makes it as the one game thing, they're all playing for their jobs.
Well, yeah. Well,
there isn't, and not even like trying to like be funny about it, but let's be real. We all would agree this team, coaching staff included, they're not just viewed in terms of what they're doing right now. Winning the division matters. Getting into the playoffs matter. They have not secured that just yet. All of them are understanding of that, coaching staff included. So to me, there was a lot that, we're going to get to gauge with this team in terms of how they show up, in terms of how they perform, in terms of how prepared this coaching staff has them. So heck yeah, man, that's where my optimism is, Mark, in terms of the glass half full, because it's like, we're going to get answers. Regardless of if you like the answers or not, we're going to get answers. And that's my thing. That's what makes me excited. I love clarity. I don't like when it's hypothetical. I don't like when people can gray area it, right? And that's why I think me and you at times go at it, because it's like, man, you can speculate one. I'm like, well, I can speculate this, but it's all speculation, right? We about to get hard, cold facts, baby. Yeah, we going to find out if this team is who we hope they are, or if this team is, who a lot of other people think they are. But either way, it's gonna have heads rolling, right? If you keep winning, we good. You start losing, you know what that convo goes to. You know what and it's at home too, Mark. Let's versus the backup quarterback, right? Or a compromised Lamar Jackson, because it doesn't sound like that's close to being back. But if he is out there, the back is compromised. So there aren't a lot of sympathy. It's not a lot of grace at this stage of it.
Yeah.
That's great perspective by both of you. I've got one other half-baked question.
Let's go.
It's actually kind of serious.
It's actually...
I
thought all the questions were serious, Mark.
The half-baked, there's a reason why they're half-baked. I want to put that as an emphasis. There's things that I kind of believe, but I don't fully believe.
Okay, fair.
Can Dylan Cook challenge Broderick Jones as the starting left tackle when Broderick returns from injury? I'm on the thought process no, because you don't invest a first-round pick when an organization invests a first-round pick. He's going to get first, second, and third cracks. But Cook is under contract through the 2026 season. And if Broderick if he needs more time to prepare, I really like how Dylan Cook's played filling in. Now, again, he's getting a ton of help with chips and sliding protections and knowing to make sure that they're protecting Aaron Rodgers' backside. But considering he's your third or fourth string left tackle, because initially it was Andres Pete, the way he's played filling in, I thought was going to be a much bigger challenge for this offense. And really, this Steelers offense hasn't really missed a beat with Cook out there. So that's my half-baked idea. It's could he be in the mix? I certainly would want to retain him. And if he continues to play the way he's been playing, forget him just being a swing tackle. Left tackle is a position where other teams play a premium, to where he could play himself into a starting role if it's in Pittsburgh or elsewhere.
I'm just going to say this because my honest answer is I'm not sure, because I haven't even thought about that. So I would be lying if I set up here and made up a really good argument about this. But there's somebody that has messaged me in my DMs, and he had 3 things that will happen this offseason. This was one of them. And he said that he's going to be the starting left tackle, and that Broderick Jones is going to be the swing tackle moving forward. So anyways, wow. I'm just calling that out to say, hey, I read the comment. First of all, I read the comment. I'm respecting the comment, and we'll see. I don't even want to think about the offseason, because I want our next conversation to be talking about our playoff matchup. So that's where I go.
TaNeisha, I appreciate you sharing with that, because that's not even half baked. That's quarter baked.
I'm just I'm a woman of the people. I'm the woman of the people, okay? If somebody tells me something, and by the way, they're probably going to watch this, and they're going to be like, "You said my idea out loud." Yes,
love it.
Because I don't think people think that I read every single thing that is sent to me. Yeah, but I do. So I'm just saying. I'm just
Mark,
making that be known now.
Mark, you know what they say, man? It goes down in the DM. All right, it goes down in the DM.
That's the football thing. Right. There you go. So yeah, it would cost us a ton of money, but hey, hey, playing that would be a very expensive and high level swing tackle. Yeah. I'm not against it. I'm all for luxury. I like the finer things in life. I'm all for that. But wow, shout out. It would be a great problem to have if Broderick is our swing tackle. And that's in all seriousness, because if you're able to keep a first round draft pick that's within 3 years of being a first round draft pick off the field in a starting capacity for a guy that you signed as your third tackle in that same draft class, remember, Broderick Jones and Spencer Anderson, right? Both of them are in that same draft class that we brought in. Dylan Cook, shout out to him telling me that in the interview that we had, right? So make sure y'all tap in on that if y'all ain't tapped in on that for the congregation. But to me, it's like, dude, I love what I'm seeing from Dylan Cook. I'm just one of those guys of allow him to continue it on. Because I remember at one point when it was Chooks Okorafor, then when it was Chooks, it was Dan Moore. And at one point between those two, Zach Banner was in that conversation, but it's always whoever is the next thing
if you give me something that looks exciting, I'm so ready to just completely marry you and put all of those eggs in that basket. I just want to see it continue on. I just want to see it actually, if this is the style that is going to continue to play with, we'll continue it. All right. And then eventually we're going to do some of the things that, Mark, you even identify, right? We're going to take some of that help away, because if I have to do so much to, help you, or at least make sure that you are safe in that position to kind of minimize your exposure to negativity, I'm kind of defeating the purpose of you being my all-world starting left tackle. That's why you drafted Broderick Jones, because you wanted more athleticism, more skill than what you were getting from Dan Moore. Dan Moore played himself to be an $80 million tackle. Why? Because he was good enough to do the bare minimum, but you also could give him some help and he could handle those unicorns, right?
And
but
he stayed healthy.
Right. And he was available to you, right? 4 years, didn't miss. But the flip side, there were certain limitations to him athletically. There were certain limitations to him that we looked and we said, hey, man, maybe we want to go draft the first rounder. So when we look at Troy Fautun and we look at Broderick in terms of their athletic profiles, that's the big reason why you made those investments, because they are capable of things that no matter how hard these other guys try, they just physically can't do that. But I'm pro, whoever's the better player, let them play. Now, the problem is, Mark already hit it. It's politics. It never is that simple. If that's the case, half the first rounders and draft picks you never see, because there's a guy named Nick Herbig that's nicer than your first rounder, but because he wasn't the first rounder or the highest pay, he doesn't get those opportunities. That's every team, every draft gonna have that. But that's, what you kind of have to deal with. So I look at Dylan Cook and just say, man, keep it going. As long as you get these opportunities, keep it going. Make it such a challenge to take you off the field. So whenever Broderick does get back healthy, we want to be looking at Pat Meyer, Arthur Smith, and Coach Tomlin like, whoa, y'all sure? You sure you doing that? You sure you want to make? That's how the conversation should be. If not, then you haven't done well enough.
Yeah.
And again, I think he'll have played himself to where he can make some money elsewhere when that deal is up.
Yeah.
And look, I want to see Broderick and Troy out there in the sense that when they're drafted as first-round picks and you see them pull, and you see them at the second level of a defense going after linebackers, safeties, defensive backs. We call those dancing grizzly bears when we watch that on tape in advance of the draft.
To play against them. You hate to play against that, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
When they can move like a skill position player can at that size, it is terrifying.
Yeah. Mark, that takes away our whole advantage. Smaller guys have the advantage over bigger guys because they should be quicker. Laterally, straight line. When you watch some of these big 300, it's like, yo, you can't. Why do you do that? That's why Darnell is so freaky. It's like, Darnell, you kind of run like a small dude, but you 300 pounds, bro. That ain't supposed to work like that, man.
Those are my half-baked ideas for today. So thank you for entertaining them.
I love it. All right. It sucks after a loss. We done had these 3 in a row, man. It's been so bubbly. It's been feeling so good. Now we take this L. I'm just like, Mark, it hurts today, man. It hurts. Okay. I don't like when we lose. It makes me not want to just be happy all the time. Okay. I don't like that.
Hey, listen, though. I would rather lose this one than lose next week. So if you're telling me, because now I'm bartering, right? What are the stages of this? Where it's like trying to get better and trying to feel better. It's like, hey, if we had to go through that to get to next week and win, then I'll accept it. I'll go through it all over.
Would you have rather beat the Browns and lost to the Lions, or rather beat the Lions and lost to the Browns? All right.
Yeah.
Which one would you rather have had? Yeah.
Yeah.
I look at some of the wins though, and I'm like, how the heck did you lose this game to a Browns team that had lost 4 straight coming in, 7 out of 8 games Cleveland had lost going into this game? And I'm just like, but wait a second, we beat like New England earlier this year. Like, it's just like, I'm trying to make sense of what the heck happened today. In New England too. You're like, bro, what?
There's no sense to make of it. There's not like, but that's what I'm saying. I feel like the teams,
welcome to the NFL, man.
Except for the Bengals, I feel like the teams that we've lost to play really good defense. And I think the reason why we lost to them is because our offense stalled. I mean, I remember against the Chargers, it was like our offense could not do anything.
Yeah.
So anyways,
Eagles
like
had
it's
that
just
one outlier. Joe Flacco go throw it to this Jamar
Yeah,
Chase.
we're gonna let Joe Flacco.
Oh my
But even
God.
like the Seahawks
Coach T
lost.
tried to warn us before the game of just like
He did.
he was
He
getting
did.
And everybody
mad
got
where
on
he's
to
like,
him.
He was
Cleveland,
pissed, man.
Cleveland
He was
just
pissed.
gave up on this guy, and he already
he's
knew.
pissed, man.
He already knew.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's why it's just interesting thinking back, like who we've lost to. It's the teams with good defenses, and it's usually our off. And again, it's
Chicago.
football, right? Usually when you
Chicago.
lose, something doesn't go right. For us, it just so happens that it's been our defense.
Yep.
I mean, our offense.
Our offense, yeah. Because
Yeah.
even Chicago was like, yo,
Chicago.
we doing what we supposed to be. It's like, yo, here they go. All right. Why they making a stop? How they getting off the field? What's this?
The Packers. Remember, like we were fine. Everything was fine. It was great. And then our offense, I'm like, the Bills, everything was fine. And then Aaron Rodgers had the fumble and then the turnover on the next play. It's just like, guys, like what are we doing?
The Joey Bosa, the full body weight. Speaking of
Just bringing them
Cam Hayward gets a penalty today, Mark. Cam Hayward gets a penalty today, and I watched Joey Bosa literally make love to Aaron Rodgers on the field. All right, he all the body, all the weight with the weight on the body. I seen all that. I'm like, yo, how does that one still not get caught? And we watching Cam Hayward get a flag today. All right. I'm sorry. It's the pass rusher. It's the pass rusher.
Yeah.
This was the worst loss to me today. It just the most frustrating given the stakes and given you win and you're in today, and it's just how I feel. Maybe it's the raw emotion. Maybe I'm being a prisoner of the moment. Recency bias, but this one just. I'm glad we recorded a few hours after the game because I just mad. Like I'm just mad. I don't want to take it out on either of you either, but I'm just mad.
You know what's funny? Like I did something I've never done. I've already recorded my Ravens video.
Oh,
because of this, because I needed to let it out. And I was like you, I was so frustrated, and I was like, "What do you do when you're frustrated? Go make content. Like, go talk about it. Go talk yourself through it. Go,
gotta get it off.
Just let it out." So I'm like, you know what? It's time. It's time. So that video, I might seem a little angry, but after I made it, I felt better because I was like, I could let it go. I'm like, all right, and yeah. When I look at this loss, I think if we would have had DK would have lost, it would have felt differently. I don't feel. This loss doesn't feel anything for me. Obviously, I think it was our biggest loss because of what our opportunity was. But I think I was more frustrated with the Colts and the Packers. And really the Bears. The Bears actually pissed me off. The Bears, I was like, you guys, like what? Like what was that? So the Bears pissed me off. But the Packers actually shocked me. Because I just thought we literally just stopped playing football for an entire quarter. We were just like, y'all got it. We're good at home. Like, I don't know. That shocked me. So
I hope that this is therapy for the listeners and the viewers of the Arthur Moats experience, as much as it is therapy for us to talk about what it is that we saw.
Well, how about this? In the comment section, you all tell us, what was your worst loss of the season? Like, what in the season when we lost, were you like, oh my gosh, this is awful? Like, what loss was hard for you to get over? Was it today? Was it another, or by the time this releases, was it this game? Was it this game against the Browns? Was it another game? Like, what are you all feeling? You all are watching, engaging with the content. Like, let us know what you think. We all know I'm in the comment section. Mark pops up sometimes. Moats sometimes dabbles a little.
Today in Buffalo, but then again, those are the two most recent losses for the Steelers. Yeah. So again, it's just like, recency bias or prisoner of the moment.
Well, let me tell you something. That Bears loss, me and Moats were about to fight on camera, okay? Like, we're about to get into it on camera. So yeah, that loss actually pissed me off. Like that was ridiculous. And then I thought the Green Bay Packers win, where we just stopped playing in the fourth quarter, or it was like the last quarter and a
because
half.
We were winning for 3 quarters of the game.
We were winning,
for 3
and
quarters.
then it was just like yeah.
Well, remember they had that. It was like a 19-play drive. They started in the third quarter. That transitioned to the fourth quarter.
And
they scored, and then it was like
we couldn't find the football.
Yep.
We were looking around. That was the game where I came back and I was like, okay, this is how we have to win games. We have to tackle. We have to find the football. That was so bad.
See, the Bears loss I wasn't tripping on as much because that was the game Rudolph started. So I was just like, backup quarterback. What can you do?
Mark, that is the pass interference game that I can the PBU better than that. Like that's like I I can't let that one go. Like, that's the one game where I was like, are you kidding me? Because remember, didn't we drop like 4 interceptions or 5 interceptions that game? And I'm just like, at some point you have to catch it, right? Well, no, they didn't. But it's just like, what are we doing? So, anyways, I'm over it.
I like it. And look, well, y'all heard it right there. Let us know in the comment section. All right, let us know.
Yeah.
But shout out. So on the back end of this thing, because like I said, I've had y'all up here for a while now, but y'all are highly distinguished, all right? And we value what y'all got to say, all right? That's why y'all up here. So shout out to both of y'all, all right? And we know they like it. That's why they be hitting the like button and subscribing the way that they do, okay? But final words. We got any final takeaways from today, or even as we start to turn the page to next week, man? With y'all energy, what y'all got for the people? What we got? Ladies first.
Yeah. I'll just say that it's game time. Like, this is the moment. Like, if you want to be the best, if you want to win, if you want to be in the playoffs, if you want all the things, the extra game check, the bragging rights, like, this is the moment. This is the game. Like, don't be mad that we have to play in this game. Be excited that we have the opportunity to beat the Ravens at home and we get to win the AFC North. That should excite you more than being annoyed that we lost, because that's the place that I'm in. So buckle up, big boy panties. Let's get it going. Like, this is the time. Like, this is the moment. So we're either going to do it or we're not going to do it. And I am going to be excited to see what happens. So that's kind of how I'm feeling after this.
My former co-host, Ike Taylor, used to always say this for big time games that are going to be physical. Bring your big boy pads. And against Derrick Henry, that's the challenge that you have to try to stop a Baltimore Ravens team where it's you win and you're in. And from Pittsburgh's standpoint, playing at home, I think, is an advantage. And then the fact that if you win the game, you host a playoff game in Pittsburgh as well. So that home field advantage, I think, can play a factor. Want an awesome crowd there. Again, we're not sure exactly when this game is going to be played quite yet. I'd imagine it's going to get flexed into prime time. So the stage is set. You're going to be playing at home in Pittsburgh against your bitter rival. It doesn't get much better than that after what is a bad loss against the Cleveland Browns. But you take care of business at home, and then if you win this game, then it's talking about hosting a playoff game and then what that matchup is, 4 seed, 5 seed going into the playoffs. I don't want to look past Baltimore, but I'm already thinking, like, can you finally change the narrative of the lack of recent playoff success? And that's the challenge that the Steelers have in the finale against Baltimore, where it's a win and you're in situation. So that's what I'm looking at. And I cannot wait. I always say this. I don't want to wish my life away. I cannot wait to see this game between the two AFC North rivals.
There it is. So shout out to Mark / the homie Ike T bringing the big boy pads. Shout out to Miss TaNeisha. She said we got to bring the big boy panties. All right. Hey, look. So I'm going to go find me some of the big boy panties, because I got pads. I ain't got the panties yet. All right. So I'm going to get them to go with the pads. All right. And we're going to make it shake. All right. I'm ready. All right. Hopefully y'all ready. I'm ready. We finna get active. All right. So I appreciate every one of y'all for tapping in with us today. All right, hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, baby. Peace.
Bye.